In today's video, we're going to be using the Stampin' Up! Gift Bag board to make this cute little handbag. It actually opens out and you can fit lots of little treats in there. Now, you may have already seen a video that I've done using the gift bag board, using it the way it was designed to make gift bags. And you can actually make three sizes, or three widths of bag, should I say. So this one is the small, which uses a 10-inch width of paper. This one is the medium, which uses an 11-inch. And then this one is the large one, which uses a 12-inch piece of paper. And then the actual height of the bag is determined by how tall your paper or cardstock is to begin with. So it's a really useful board for making bags, but I wanted to see what else I could do. We're crafters, right? We like to make different things. So I've actually done a series of 4 videos making different bags and boxes and different things that you can do with the board. So this one, like I say, is the handbag. So let's get started, shall we? So you're going to need a piece of paper which is 10 inches by 5 inches. Now I need to give you a couple of tips about the paper. This paper will work either side because the pattern isn't directional. And what I mean by that is if you use this paper with the trees on it, the trees have to go the right way up because kind of upside down trees really doesn't work. And the way this purse or handbag, sorry, is actually designed, the paper folds over at the top, and it will mean that although the trees will be the right way this way they'll be upside down. So you need to use a pattern that doesn't really matter which way up it goes. Also, be careful of using big patterns on something this small because basically you will lose the beautiful definition. And just so you know, this paper is called English Garden. It's in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalogue. This is the catalogue that launched on the 1st of June 2015 and it runs through till the end of May. The English Garden paper you'll find on page 142, and also in there, let me just see if I can find it, there we go, in there is the gift bag board and actually the other punch boards that we do as well. If you haven't got a copy of this catalogue or a copy of the new Autumn Winter catalogue, which launched for demonstrators yesterday, which is the 4th of August 2015, but customers 1st of September. Now, if you want a copy of either of these catalogues, this one or the new one, then send me an email, amanda@inspiringinkin.com, or leave a message on YouTube down there, or go to my blog, www.inspiringinkin.com, or find me on Facebook. Amanda Fowler or Inspiring Inkin, both of those will work for you to find me. So don't be without a catalogue, you really need one. There's loads of inspiration in there. So let's get working with this project. So we've got a piece of paper 10 inches by 5 and we're going to use the gift board. Now with the gift boards, the way to make them work is to follow the instructions. Yeah, okay, Amanda, that sounds really straightforward and simple, but it's true. It really does work. The boards, when you first look at them, kind of look a bit complicated, but actually they are really straightforward. In the pack, when your board arrives, there are some written instructions and also some pictorial instructions. So do have a quick look at those, or watch my videos. That will work too, and you can actually sort of craft along with me if that helps you with your learning of how to use the board. But honestly, it's really quite straightforward. Now, although Amanda says read the instructions, I actually add in an extra step with this particular board. Okay, so what you're going to do is when you put your paper in, just here is a score line, and you score as you go along and you move the paper along. Now what I found was that there were places where it didn't actually score, where it was kind of moving along and kind of hidden behind the punch area. So what I actually do is I score it all the way along first. So you're just going to put it in, push it up to the back and just score. Now, this is Design Series paper. It's fairly tough, but if you really press hard, you're going to go through. So it's much better to be gentle with your scoring and then burnish it again with your bone folder and actually reinforce the score line than it is to stick your blade through the paper. So I've actually scored all the way along, and then I'm going to use the board exactly as you're supposed to. So put it in at the start line, punch, score, and then this, because we're starting out with a 10-inch, we're actually going to score on the small line. Then we're going to move it along to this start line, punch, and then you're going to do the side bit. Now, this side bit is the gusset, and every time I say that in class, somebody laughs. You're laughing? Okay. So, we've called it all sorts of different things in class. People have come up with all sorts of the side sections and everything else. It's bag gusset, and it's just what it is. So you're going to score the triangle, you're going to score the side, and then that side bit. And you're going to move it along to the start line again, punch, and then we're doing the S line again, and move it along, and do the gusset bit. Okay, and then last time we're going to move it along and punch. Okay, so this is what you're going to end up with. So you've got a front or a back, a side, a front or a back, and a side, and then this is your glue tab. So now what we're going to do is make the top section of the bag. So this is actually the bottom of the bag. We're going to make this the top section. And what we're going to do is feed it back into the board. Oh, not drop your scoring tool on the floor. Sorry. So we're going to score all the way along, like this, just like we did on the first bit. And then what you're going to do is you are going to look for the back section, which is in between the two side sections, so this one, and you're going to feed it in, and you're just going to match up the score line with the start line and punch, and then do the same again. So I'm hoping that you can see you've got this bit, so that is actually going to be making your handbag flap. So that is everything we need with the punch board for now. I'm going to get a pair of scissors, actually. And what you're going to do is just reinforce all of those score lines. And basically what this is doing is, although the score lines are telling the cardstock and the paper that you want it to fold there, this just gives it a little bit more definition, gives you a crisper fold. Now we're going to be cutting off quite a lot of this top section. So the bottom section, this piece here where you've got all of the flaps, leave that alone, and then take the scissors and just trim all the way along. that. And then I'm just going to trim a little bit off these corners for the gluing tabs. Now, the triangle gusset parts is actually, it's much easier to fold it before you stick it. Basically, it's just easier, and I'm also making your crafting a little bit easier. So just bend it both ways. Okay. Now, at this point, you need to punch some holes, and the holes are for the ribbon, and you're going to use the handheld punch and just slide that in, like so. So that's just giving you your two little holes, and then basically we're ready to glue. Now, Tombow is my favourite glue, my glue of choice, and the glue that I use all the time. Stampin' Up have brought out a new tape, and it's called Tearable Tape. Now, what a ridiculous name, because it sounds like it's terrible tape. And when I was crafting the other day, I said, oh, I'm going to go and get my terrible tape, and everyone's going, why would you use it if it's terrible? Actually, it's tearable tape. But it's a silly name, but it's really good. So let me show you. Pull it, put your thumb on, tear it. So we're now going to call it tear tape. Then there's no confusion. So I'm going to put a little bit of tear tape on the flap, and then fold that over like this. It's actually really easy to get the inner off. I'm just making a meal of it today. So then that one's going to go on there like that, and then you're going to push in the side gusset bits there and there, and then what we're going to do is work out which way's the front. So this is the front, so we're going to put a bit of tear tape on there. And actually, I don't put any more tape on the other sides of these. I just put one piece on there. If I'm going to put something really heavy in it, then I might just put a bit more in there, or even a piece of cardstock in the base. And you'll actually see that on some of my other videos. I'll put some cardstock in the base. But this doesn't actually need it, so I'm just going to pop that down there like that. And I love this paper actually because it's graduated in the colour, so you can see it's darker in some places and lighter in others. So for the decoration, I'm using these. Now these are the metal rimmed pearls, and they're great because they've already got a dimensional sticky on them, so you'll be able to see. I'll just lift that off. And I'm going to use a couple of punches. So this is the petite petals punch and the 1-inch circle punch. So I'm going to punch that out there, and I didn't get any white cardstock out. See, it's a good job. I'm in my craft room. Okay, so let me just get that. So I'm just going to give the flower a little bit of dimension by just squashing the petals, and then take the glue off the back of this and pop it down. Tombow glue and pop that on the centre there. Okay, I'm just going to pop that to one side while I do the ribbon, so that's got time to dry. This ribbon is Whisper White, and it's the satin striped ribbon, I think, and it's lovely. It's quite a stiff ribbon, so it actually holds quite well. If you cut this at an angle, then thread it through from the back, and then just tie a knot in the back of it, and then just trim off the end little bits there, and then that piece will go in, and then you're just going to thread this back through the other side. If you cut it at a point, it actually makes it a little bit easier. Or not. Right, third time lucky. Right, there we go. So tie another knot in that bit. Like so. And then just pull that off. Okay. So there's your handle. And then all we've got to do is just put the flower on the front. And what I use is a dimensional. And I put the dimensional at the bottom of the flower. So when I put this down, it actually, the front flap of the handbag actually tucks and tucks down behind it, just like that. Okay, there you go. So there's another variation with the spots. This is actually the In Colour Designer Series stamp. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you always get to see my videos first. And why not hop over to my blog, www.inspiringinkin.com, to see more creative inspiration, tips, hints and all things crafting and Stampin' Up. See you again soon. Goodbye.